Hi everyone, now I'm going to be tying, basically it's a request, could I tie a small delta wing emerger, so I mean there is a few two patterns out there you could tie. My favourite emerger style is to use the small, as a CDC bubble. Now you can see I've got the delta wing in this fly, and it's reasonably simple to tie. As I say, it is. The best known delta wing pattern would be the Roman Moser one, which many use, and it's a great fly. This is just, I'm taking a style that I like to use and putting the delta wing in. So anyway, as I say, it is a request, so hopefully you enjoy the video. Now, the hook I'm using, this is just a size 14, it's an all-purpose medium from Fulling Mill. The thread I'm going to be using is the 80 in yellow from Uni. Now I have waxed the thread, and what I'm going to do is just quickly run down with a layer of thread onto the shank and stop just before I get round the bend or in line with the barb of the hook. Now I'm using a light dun CDC, quite a light colour CDC. Now this is just a really, you can see it's not a good feather, but I'm going to just use this as for the tail. It's just a wee short CDC tail. Just pulling the fibres together and tying it on the top. A couple of turns. And that's fine, I'm happy with that. And it's just really waste, you wouldn't use it in anything else. So trim that to the length of the body. And then I'm just going to wind my thread up. Now the body length is around about 2/3 of the shank. Now the dubbing I'm going to be using, there's lots of dubbing out there. This is one I have, this is from Spirit River, it's called UV2. And this is the Pale Morning Dun, it's a dry fly dubbing. And it's very easy to dub, it's a really simple dubbing. So what we do is just, from this point I'm going to work it down and come back up to get a nice taper in the body. So just make sure I've got enough on. Slide it up, and then just quickly run it down, stretching it out, keep it, you want it to get this taper, so you don't want it too heavy near the tip or near the tail. And then we just work our way up, gets a bit heavier, you want a nice taper, as I say, a nice carrot-like shape. Just a wee quick look. It's fine. When you're happy with that, you can take away the excess, just stroke it back and then this away. So we've got a nice taper. As I say, it makes a really nice body. Now for the wing, I've got, I've got 3 small to medium sized CDC feathers. Just going to lay one on top of the other. So we've got basically the tips of them lined up. Now I'm just going to draw these together now just to see how much I've got. It's fine. Now I want to tie it, obviously I'm tying it in by the tip. Now I need some of these fibres here to sort of blend into the wing, so I pull some of that back. You don't need it all anyway. And I want to use more of this 2/3 of the way up for to form the bubble. So I just draw these together and hold them. So they're slightly out there, so I'm just going to line them up and then catch it in the top. Oops, just slipped on me. So catch it in the top. I'm going to pull it in nice and tight, right up against the body. And just check my bubble so you can get a nice curved shape that you need to actually, which traps the bubble, keeps the fly up. And the CDC is really good, and this style of fly works, this bubble method works really well. So I'm just going to wax my thread here, tidy this up, and I'm going to come back all the way up to the wing. And we tie in 2 hackle tips. This is just a cheap Indian neck that I have, it's a cock neck that I've dyed grey. It was a kind of grizzle-like colour. There wasn't a good marking on it, so I'm just going to grab 2 of these feathers. That'll do it. they're not the best, as I say. This one's quite dark, but I've got two together, laying on top of one another. You can see it there, you've seen the underside there. So just one on top of the other. Now one a wing length just to the back of the hook, which is there. So I tie that on the top, just hold them. You don't need to separate or pull out the fibres, just tie them on the top. See what they're like. Now I'm separating them here, so they're going to go down either side of the CDC. Now I'm just going to recheck, I can show you what that looks like. Just checking the length, that's fine, it looks okay to me. Just checking the length here, and that's fine. Now when I'm happy with that, then I can trim away the waste. Just wax your thread, make sure it's secure. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give myself plenty of room to actually tie the CDC in, because the stems of these feathers can be quite, put it this way, if you don't tie them in properly they'll pull out, so you've got to make sure you give you a good area to tie it in. Even if I'm going to use some dubbing to finish the head off, so I'm going to go back to the same dubbing. I'm just going to lightly dub it onto my thread. Now I'm going to wind from about 2 mil from the eye or so, or 1.5 mil or so anyway, and then just dub up towards the CDC, the wing. Come back through, just stroke the fibre back when you get to where you want to tie in your CDC. Now this waist here up the top, I'm going to actually use this as part of the wing. So I basically hold the very ends of the CDC feathers and draw this on the top. The bubbles in there, make sure the feathers are all lined up nice and tight, the same length. Now you want to be able to see the body. You don't want it too long, you don't want it way at the back, you want it slightly up here. So, and then when you're happy with the length that you want to see, you want to tie, just skewer it in 3 or 4 turns. At this point you can check, now you can see the bubble there, that looks fine. You can trim away the waste. As I say, you want to make sure you tie, you've got enough area to tie this in. Now what I do here is I basically get my nail in to these cut ends. I slightly push them away from the eye. And I take the thread to the eye, and then I basically build the thread up into these cut ends, cut fibres, secure them in. And there we are. And then I go back to my dubbing. You don't need much. You could finish off with the thread's fine, but I like just a wee tiny bit of dubbing. It's part of the thorax slightly. And this dubbing is really fine, so it really doesn't add a huge amount to it. Just check that it's going to taper into the thorax. That looks fine. And then some varnish onto your thread, and then wet finish. And there we are. And that's the delta wing emerger. Now, as I say, what I'm going to do here, the method, the bubble, the CDC, is it's a great wing to float a nymph, especially in the emerger. The delta wing, it's the next stage of the hatching mayfly. There is a point the wing sits very delta-like, and the fish do target them. They certainly recognise that the nymph is at the point where it's really stuck and vulnerable to being, obviously, they've got more chance of catching it. And it's a great wee style at presenting or getting an emerger pattern like this. As I say, you can tie them, I've got them tied slightly different colour, and tie them dark. You can go smaller with the C, I'll just give you an idea. Slightly smaller with the bubble, you can reduce that. But you feel sometimes you can do that, you can have all different types. This way is right in between, so anyway, I hope I hope you liked that. As I say, it's a nice wee pattern, good fun to tie, good fun to fish, and a very productive pattern to catch. Any fish that's taking some olives that's coming off, or small duns. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that anyway. Again, if you enjoy the videos and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It does help. It doesn't cost you anything. It just shows that I've got people interested in the videos and we're doing well. So anyway, again, I hope you enjoyed the video and thanks again.